So I've managed to get myself into a Peugeot e-2008 for a little drive, and I'm going to have this car now probably for the next few months. Previous to this, I've had the Volkswagen ID3, the Volkswagen e-Up, a Tesla Model 3 Performance, and a BMW i3. I think that's all of them. So I've driven quite a lot of electric cars, and it'd be interesting to see how this one measures up. Now, the first thing I've got to do is go and get a coffee from the drive-thru because I am parched. So let's go. Okay, so I have got my all-essential coffee. Need one of those to kick things off, and I must admit I was a little bit concerned about the size of the drink holders in this car, because the first one looks really small, but actually it's managed to fit the Costa coffee in there no problem, so that's really good. So the car, what's it like to drive? Well, I really like it. I really like it. The steering's very, very lightweight. So you can, steer with one hand very, very easily. You've got a top and bottom flat steering wheel here, which is nice. Unusual, really, because a lot of them, if you're going to have a sort of sporty steering wheel, it tends to just be the bottom, a flat bottom steering wheel, but you've got both on this. So the steering wheel's quite small and chunky, and it kind of feels good to hold. And the car is very, very stable, so it doesn't have a lot of body roll. And we just move over to this other lane over here. There we are, as we mosey on down the dual carriageway. And I'm going to actually take the car now for a car wash, just so it's all nice and clean for you when I show you the outside in another video. But yeah, so I'm just taking it out and about. But I love this car to drive, and I really think most people would like it too. My wife's had a go in it, she liked it. She found it, pretty pleasant. She prefers like a really nippy small car, mind you, which this doesn't feel particularly nippy. I would say the acceleration on this car is smooth and sort of relatively graceful. It's not slow by any means, but it's certainly not, throw you back in your seat and hold on for grim death type thing. It's a little bit slower, I think, than my VW ID3. The ID3 seems to go off quite well at any speed, if you floor it. Having said that, I did accidentally wheel spin this car earlier on, so it can't be that slow, can it? You've got different driving modes: eco, normal and sport. I think in sport it does feel a little bit zippier. I'm in eco at the moment, but it does feel a little bit zippier when you put it into sport mode. I'm not sure as it has any impact on the steering or anything. As I say, I'm not a pro at this game. I'm just an ordinary guy like maybe you are, and just talking about the car as I find it. But the interior is really nice. Everyone who has gotten in this car likes the interior straight away. My 19-year-old son liked it. My little boy who's 9 liked it. And they've been in a lot of cars over the years, and they really like this one straight away. And this is the first Peugeot I've ever had. So it's quite a good introduction to the Peugeot, I suppose, the Peugeot brand. But I'm actually quite impressed with the whole thing: the drive, the inside, the handling, and pretty much everything. There's only one bugbear that I have found so far with this car, and it is quite major. Oh, we got a speed camera ahead. Better make sure I'm doing the limit. Yep, I'm bang on. So the thing is that you rely on most with an electric car, that especially if you're new to electric cars, you're going to worry about, is the range. And you really want that range that's showing up on your dashboard to be fairly accurate. But what I found is in this car, 1 minute you're showing, like, say I charged this up to full, I think it was up to 180 miles. It's quite cold at the moment. That would probably be showing more on a full charge if it was warmer in the summer, but it's showing 180 miles, and then, you know, 1 minute you're doing that, you do say 5 miles, and then suddenly you've got like 15 or 20 miles just disappears straight off your range. And it's a bit you know, disconcerting. Like, if you were going on a right old trip, you know, the last thing you want is to be on the motorway and then suddenly you look at your range and you've lost a great chunk. So I have seen other people have also mentioned this, actually, that this is a bit of a thing with this car. Maybe, I mean, it's got to be software, so it's something that they could probably sort out with an update, because you can connect this car via Wi-Fi. Oh, we've got a lorry in our way here. I was just about to go and have a car wash. Maybe we're going to have to forget the car wash. Let's have a little look, see if I can park up anywhere. Yeah, right now I'll just go in the exit. Right, let's just go and pull over here, and then I can go and get my car wash token and we'll take it straight through there. Unless, of course, it's turned into a building site, which it has. Man, this is what happens when you don't have professionals filming, you know, you get real life dramas. So I'm just going to pull in, and then we'll get on our merry way to where I'm going to head, because this is the second car wash I've been to now which is out of action, so I'm giving up on cleaning the car. So okay, let's just jump back in the car in a second and just whiz on to our next destination, and I'll tell you some more about the car. Okay, we're off again. So yeah, getting back to the actual car and the driving of the car then, let's just get onto this roundabout here. Yeah, I really like the car, and I highly recommend it in terms of its driving and everything, but the range, as I said, is a bit sketchy, to be honest with you. And I think most people who have reviewed this car have said that the one thing that they're a little disappointed with is the range on the car. But God, it's a toss-up, because I like it so much. I like it so much that I'd almost be prepared to forgive that. That's how nice it is to drive and to live with, and it looks great. In one of the next videos, I'll do an exterior tour of this car, and it really does look like a really nice modern angular car, quite aggressive looking, I suppose, but very, very modern. And actually, by the way, the reason that the car wash was out of action just there is because right next to it, they are actually putting in 250 kilowatt chargers, which is good news, very good news, because believe me, since I've been driving these electric cars around everywhere, I have seen already in the last year or so a definite increase in the amount of people using these chargers and the amount of cars competing to use these. You know, unless you're a Tesla, have obviously got the advantage because they can use any charger plus their own network, whereas the rest of us at the moment are all at the mercy of our home chargers and the public networks, but we can't use Tesla. That, I understand, has started to happen though in other countries. Some other countries have started allowing non-Tesla people to use Tesla chargers, so whether that's something that Tesla will roll out to this country as well. Let me see if I can block out some of the sun. There you go, you can actually see me now. Hopefully they do, but you know, it's great if you're driving a Tesla, but for the rest of us, and I think at some point definitely there will be more electric cars of other brands on the road than just Tesla, you know, combined. I mean, you've got Volkswagen, you know, whipping them out all over the place. Volvo are also going heavy, and obviously they've just stopped building petrol and diesel cars and just flat out just going electric. So there's going to be so many more people on the road with electric cars, and pretty soon, I think, if you're going on a trip, you're going to want to really start planning and making sure there's chargers available on your route, and you're going to want to head off with a full charge from home. I use PodPoint, by the way, and that's been, you know, really, really good for me. I think at the time, I was about 2-3 years ago, I got a government grant, which is great, which pays some of it. I think it ended up costing me about £400. With regards to the actual car and how I've got this car, if you've seen any of my other videos, you might know that I use On2, and On2 are fantastic because basically I subscribe to this car, hence the name of the channel. and I just pay a fixed fee per month, and it's on a monthly basis. So if I want to give this car back next month because I didn't like it, which I do like it, but if I didn't like it, I could just give it them back. Unlike with a lease, you know, you're tied in for sort of 1, 2 or 3 years, maybe even 4 years, and you're stuck with that car, so you better like it, which means you've probably got to go and get a test drive first and, you know, really test it out to make sure you're going to be happy with that car for a long period of time. But with On2, you can just do this. You can have this car for a month and get rid and swap it for something else and have a different car. And then on top of that, the insurance and everything is included. So no more do you have to kind of keep, you know, going on Money's Supermarket or something and then changing over, you know, the car on and seeing how much it costs to insure and all of that faff and admin. So that's what this takes away is a lot of admin. I hate admin. You know, I was always having my MOT run out or something, or my insurance run out because I didn't check my email or something like that. So these guys, you just know, you're just paying them straight off your debit card. I do mine off the Amex card and then clock up a whole bunch of air miles. So I'm getting air miles. You can do cashback cards as well. So you're paying for the car every month and getting cashback or air miles, which is another little Brucey bonus. But there's a link underneath this video if you want to find out more about On2 and see the range of cars. I know they've got new ones coming and they've got some in stock, but you get £50 off your first month subscription if you use my code. Full disclaimer, I get £50 off mine as well, so you'd be doing me a favour as well as yourself, but I don't get any more than you. So, and I found them really, really good. You know, this car was swapped over, I swapped over a VW Up for this car the other week, and here it is. And you know, the swap was seamless. The guy came about 11 o'clock, just switched it over. I did have to pay £49, I think it was, for the swap, but you know, well worth it. So anyways, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on driving with the car. I'll just film a little bit of the POV footage, so that's point of view, just so you can see what it's like to drive. It's got a nice high bonnet here on this car as well. It does make you feel like you're in a bit of an SUV, which is kind of nice. Quite chunky feel to it, but not overly heavy to drive. You know, you're not sort of struggling with it like a big car. It feels quite long too, I must admit. I don't know the technical dimensions of it, but it feels fairly long. I know when I'm pulling it in my drive, you know, I have to be a little bit more careful than the other cars that I've been driving, but you know, no problem there really at all. All right, so yeah, let me just spin it round and I'll rejoin you in a sec. Talked a little bit about the handling of this car, and you know, we've said that it's pretty stable. The steering is really quite accurate as well, and it's got this flat top and bottom steering wheel and so on. Other things to consider: the seats. These seats are, I find, really, really comfortable. very, very supportive, especially in the sides. They're like kind of real, you know, sporty racing seats, I suppose, which again goes with the whole GT theme of this Peugeot e-2008. But yeah, I mean, I think the seats are really good. They're not electric, which would be nice. You'd almost think they would be electric in a car like this, because everything else is, you know, so high tech, as it were. You know, the lighting, the dashboard. We haven't spoke about the iCockpit down here. This is really cool. You've got, I'm going to show it to you when I do the interior tour, but this is, you know, really, really nice. It's got a 3D kind of look to it. You've got navigation down here. You can change the look of it in the iCockpit. You can have different dials. You can clearly see your energy. You can have it very minimalistic. It's up to you, really. So yeah, really like the seats, really like the dashboard, the iCockpit here. And with regards to the gears, obviously being an electric car, you've just got your drive, neutral, reverse, park, and so on. Oh, look at that! I'm right behind an ID4 now. Another electric car. See, they're starting to appear everywhere. But you can also do regenerative braking with this car. You just pull back on the gear stick just one more time to go past drive, and then it changes on your dashboard to B. And then you've got some regenerative braking. It's not that strong. It's not going to slow you down that much. You know, some other cars are quite aggressive with their regenerative braking, and also you can even choose the levels. I think it was on the VWE Up, you can even choose the level of regenerative braking between levels 1 and 4, whereas this, it's just regenerative braking or not. So you might want to play around with that, but I quite like it in both. I tend to use the regenerative braking around town, and then for longer drives when you're just cruising along, say on the motorway, then you can just leave it in D, and then it just carries on drifting, as it were, when you take your foot off the accelerator. Other things with the car, the braking is good. I found the brakes to be really quite punchy, you know, they really do a good job. Again, comparing to the VW ID3, I don't like the brakes on that. You really have to stand on those to make them, you know, work. If you put your foot down, you think, oh, I'm not really slowing down much, and push harder and harder. Whereas with this car, it's not a conscious thing at all. You just brake, it brakes, and everything's great. So yeah, I think that's pretty much about it from the point of view of driving it. Apart from, another good thing I've found with this car is the quietness. I think this may be the quietest electric car that I've had out of all of them. When you're going along, the noise is really, really low. There's hardly any wind noise. The car itself is obviously electric, so it's going to be pretty quiet. But yeah, I found it to be really good in that department. You can really hear yourself chatting away if you're having a conversation and everything. The Tesla was quite windy, actually. The Model 3 was quite noisy, and it's a very aerodynamic car, so I'm not really sure why it had to be like that, but it must be something to do with the seals and things around the windows. I don't know, I'm not a car pro, but all I know is this Peugeot e-2008 is actually really good from a noise levels point of view. So that's it for this video, just a quick drive around in the Peugeot e-2008. My thoughts on it as an ordinary guy, you know, not a professional car reviewer and that, so I'm sorry about the quality of the video and everything else. But hey, if you could like and subscribe to this video, that'd be really helpful. It just gets more views, and then more people learning about electric cars, which can't be a bad thing for the environment at all. So there's a link underneath this video if you want to go and find out more about the car. Just to let you know, I think off the top of my head, this car is $599 a month. Now that might sound a lot, but bear in mind you don't have to pay any kind of deposit for that. And it includes your insurance, and it includes your maintenance, your servicing, your charging, but like a total cost of having the car per month. And if you put it through your business, again, I'm not an accountant, so this is not financial advice, but you can also put the whole electric car through your business, and then if you're VAT registered, you can claim back 50% of the VAT, I think. So that makes the car really quite a good proposition. And with no, you know, if you've got terrible credit history, by the way, as well, is another good thing, because you can just use a debit or credit card and just get this car. You will not get approved for finance if you go to a dealership or something and try and buy or even lease this car if you've got bad credit. So Onto is a great solution for a lot of people. Maybe you've made a mistake in the past and got a CCJ or something that's stopping you from passing credit checks, but you want a nice car and you can afford a nice car. then this is a good way of doing it. So yeah, once again, thanks a lot. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a particular video about this car, something that you know, you think, oh, I'd really like to know this about it, whatever. Just ask in the comments. I'll do my best to answer. I'll answer every single question that comes up, guaranteed. And then please do look out for my next videos on this car. I'm going to do all sorts on it, but I'm looking to you guys to give me more ideas of what to create videos about. And thanks ever so much for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you real soon.